Hey everybody, Richard from BlueSheepdog.com here, and today I want to talk about a book that I found to be very, very valuable, an exceptional book. It's called 68 Whiskey, Combat Medic Skills. This book has absolutely incredible information for dealing with care under fire, for dealing with traumatic injury, whether it's gunshot wounds, falling, broken bones, that type of thing. It comes to us straight from the military. If you've been in the military, you've been through the Combat Lifesaver course, or you've been through some of the advanced medical training that the military is now teaching, all of this is going to be a refresher. For those of you that have not been through the military, or you have been, but prior to some of what they're teaching now, this is going to have some great information in here. If you're familiar with the TCCC, or Tactical Combat Casualty Care, basically what we're talking about is taking an injury in a violent encounter and treating that as part of the tactical problem. In other words, we're not treating injuries under fire as a traditional civilian EMS problem. For law enforcement officers out there, you're probably very familiar. Anytime you go to any type of violent encounter where somebody's been injured, what do fire and EMS do? Well, they stage. They're not going anywhere in. That's part of their basic training. The first thing they want to do before they enter any scene is they want to make sure the scene is safe. Well, if it's some type of criminal activity, that means the scene's not safe until the PD says it's safe, which means that if you're in there and you've gotten shot, or your partner's gotten shot, or somebody else is, wounded, needs help, they're not going in. They're not going in until you're stringing up crime scene tape and they're relatively sure that they're not going to be shot. Okay? So we as police officers, as law enforcement officers, we have to know how to both treat ourselves and treat our partners out there, because EMS isn't coming for us. And that's where these types of things come into play. Okay? The military has developed the TCCC, the Tactical Combat Casualty Care, from some very unfortunately hard-won experience. And I think that us in law enforcement can't always take a one-for-one adaptation of everything, but there's a lot of good, solid information in here on treating people that have been wounded under fire. And we're talking about very basic things. Stopping massive bleeding, maybe through the application of a tourniquet, maybe through direct pressure. We want to make sure that tension pneumothorax, probably we're not going to deal with that as a police officer in a rapidly evolving situation, but it is something that we need to be aware of, just like airway management. And those things are covered in here. There's also a lot of other stuff that goes into here that chances are we're not going to deal with. However, this is a great reference. It may not be something that every police officer wants to go out and spend the money on, because unfortunately it's not an inexpensive book. But if you are teaching this material, I think it's a book you have to have in your library, either at the work, your department or your academy has to purchase it, or you need to come out of pocket for your own edification. This is solid information that's been hard-won. It's battle experience information that's in here. And even if you're teaching just small portions of it, the care under fire, and the garrison care and everything else in here doesn't apply to you, there's a lot of solid information in here. What's really great is there's plenty of illustrations in here. Everything is laid out very easily. Yes, there's some medical terminology that is in here, but you know what? They break it down for you. They understand that you're not a doctor, okay? Just like our troops going into combat, our combat medics, our combat lifesavers, they're not doctors either. This information is broken down. Yes, they're using medical terminology where appropriate, but they're explaining it to you. It is easy to read, it is easy to follow, and you're able to follow through, and it breaks everything down. These are the things we most need to worry about, and here's why. It's fantastic. Again, the book is called 68 Whiskey, Combat Medic Skills. I highly recommend it. There'll be some in today's show notes. I will definitely have a link to it at Amazon. You may be able to find it cheaper somewhere else. Amazon was the cheapest I was able to find it when I went to buy it. So good luck. Stay safe.